I, like many Jamaicans, am not a fan of the Member of Parliament, Everald Warmington. He is crass, he is rude, he is uncouth, he at times totally flouts parliamentary customs. He's just a brute. That being said, however, every now and then I find myself in agreement with Member of Parliament Warmington, and now is one of those times. Following the passage of Hurricane Melissa, many churches across the island have been either totally destroyed or find themselves in a state of disrepair. In response to this, the government has issued a $75 million grant for churches to help them reconstruct. Member of Parliament Everald Warmington raised the interesting point, the salient point actually, that government, because of the separation of church and state, should not be involved in funding church activities or church rebuilding events. He also noted that the money allocated would not be enough to rebuild any institution fully. He went on to say that because the churches across the island are seeing such a drop in attendance, the different congregations should band together and house multiple congregations under one roof. That, in my opinion, makes sense. And unfortunately, the good sense of that suggestion was not seen by members of the church. Members of the church are now complaining that because the church engages in social activities and because the church is seen as a pillar of society, then yes, they deserve this $75 million. They deserve access to this money. But that, I think, is not very bright thinking. There is a separation of church and state. That means the state should not be promoting any form of religion, be it Christianity or any denomination in Christianity or any other religion. So the state should not be promoting Seventh-day Adventism, Anglicanism, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, nothing. The state should be taking a step back when it comes to those matters. The reason why the state should be taking a step back when it comes to these matters is because if the state interferes in this, if the state begins to say, we are going to be funding only Seventh-day Adventist churches or only Christian churches for that matter, it alienates, it leaves on the outside citizens who are not members of that specific community. More to the point though, the church didn't pay taxes. Many of us know that. The church, which sits on great quantities of land, pays no real taxes. They should not, in my opinion, be getting government money to extend their operations. That should be down to their parishioners and their congregation. More importantly, however, will this money be accessible to the Islamic community? I know that in Westmoreland, for example, there is a strong Muslim presence and that they have been severely impacted by the passage of this hurricane. Will the mosques in St. Elizabeth be able to access this money? Will the Jewish community be able to access this money? Will the Hindu community be able to access this money? Will the Baha'i community be able to access this money? Or is it only a Christian endeavor? And if so, why? Will the Rastas be able to access this? We can go down the list. Based on reports, it seems that it will just be only Christians getting this money. This, I believe, is a serious problem. Now, I'm not opposed to Christianity or any other religion. If people want to practice it, by all means, go ahead. Once you're not, impeding and interfering on other people, you can do whatever you want. You cannot, however, press this on other people, shove it down their throats, and at the same time have the government endorsing and participating, even in a backhanded way, in this sort of endeavor. There needs to be a clear firewall. The state should not be involved in the church. The state should not be funding the church, and if the state is funding religious activities, it needs to do it across the board. This just seems like petty pandering, an attempt to reach out to a community to ensure that they stick with you in lockstep. That is not good. That is going to have long-term implications. In a country where the evangelical churches are already strong and getting stronger, in a country where those very same evangelical churches have outside political influence, that is, they have influence from the American evangelical right, we need to stand up, take note, and stop this. We are either going to be funding all the religious denominations equally, or the state should fund nobody. It really is that simple.